Hello, everybody. Welcome.
Hiyo.
Today we have the last guest of the month and a pretty special one at that. This is the episode 16 of the show, named Scenarios, and we have Cody today. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hiyo, it's me, Cody, one of the co-hosts of Things YouTubers Say. We deliver news on a daily basis. You can find us on our channel. Just all stuck in my head now. But yes, yeah.
I mean, it's part of the job, so yeah, you need to have that on your head.
Yeah.
All right, let's start the show with the classic question. What games do you consider your favorites?
What do you mean by what games? You mean like genres or?
If you have a specific games, or if you have a genre you specifically like the most.
I've got a handful of games that I really like. I mean, I'm really into Splatoon. I think I've expressed my love for Splatoon quite a lot on social media. But I think my bread and butter is just like first-person shooters. I love shooting games. I like clicking heads. It's fun and exciting for me. But I played a good variety of games. Like I wouldn't say I'm a huge Zelda fan, but I do enjoy Zelda a lot.
All right. So, what Zelda games have you played so far?
Literally all of them, I think. There's only one Zelda game I haven't completed, and that's Majora's Mask. I don't know, I just didn't really get into it. And like the whole like having to do it all over again. I know that's the whole premise of the game, but it just wasn't for me, which is a weird thing to say, because Majora's Mask is a lot of people's favorites. But for me, it just didn't. It wasn't like here's a bizarre thing, right? And this is a hot take on for Zelda fans, is that I really enjoyed Spirit Tracks, and it's probably I enjoy it much more than I enjoyed Majora's Mask, and a lot of Zelda fans hate Spirit Tracks. So come at me, I don't care. It's fine.
Okay, he puts the hands out. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Majora's Mask, in my opinion, is kind of the same thing. I didn't click well with it. I just don't click with it at all. That's all. I tried. I truly tried, but I don't know. Really weird. As for Spirit Tracks, I still need to try that one. Seems fun. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just a fun, different game, I think, for me. I love like that sort of old schoolish play, like the top-down play. It's quite nice, refreshing. So when A Link Between Worlds came out, I think on the DS, it was I loved that game. It was really, really enjoyable for me. Like the open world, top-down, could do whatever. It's basically like the Breath of the Wild for the DS. Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, I really, really loved it. And I think I've been like a pretty big Zelda fan for a while. Like I have a bunch of Zelda merch. Like I have literally like every Link amiibo that exists. I have all of those. I have the gold limited edition Majora's Mask DS just sitting in a box, and also the anniversary edition DS sitting in a box as well. Yeah. I've got limited editions of like a lot of things. That's like Zelda stuff. And I also went to go watch the orchestra. So the orchestra came to London. I can't remember when it was. And I went to go watch the Zelda orchestra, which is the first time I've ever been to see an orchestral like sequence or score, I should say.
An orchestra live, like on the theater.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not something that I usually go and do. I know it's big in the Final Fantasy realm. Like a lot of Final Fantasy fans, because it comes around. The Final Fantasy one comes around the UK, or at least London, quite often. So one of my friends who's like a huge Final Fantasy fan will always go there for it, and I was just like, it's just music, right? But at the same time, I 100% did the same thing for Zelda.
Also, hey FP, welcome. And yeah, I mean, you have the opportunity to go to an orchestra of your favorite franchise or a franchise you like the most for the music, and you go ahead, go nuts. If I had the money, I will go for the Sony one that was in Brazil this time. It's just a neighboring country, so. But it was a good one, good time. Oh, my audio's a bit low. Hold on. Oh shit. Let's go for a few decibels on here. Maybe 5. There we go. Okay, that should be good, I guess. Anyhow, let's move on to the playlist a little bit. Oh no, wait, hold on. First-person shooters. Which ones have you been playing? Like
loads. Like everything in the world. Yeah. Call of Duty. I played a lot. I played a lot of Call of Duty. Actually, when I first started VTubing, I was offered a Call of Duty content creator contract, but I turned it down because they wanted me to compete, and I don't want to do that. Yeah. So Call of Duty, I played a lot of. I mean, a lot of people know already that I play Overwatch a lot. I used to play like Counter-Strike.
CS:GO.
Yeah, CS:GO, and I think just a lot of just various different shooters. Splitgate is a recent one that I picked up. Halo is another recent one that I picked up. I played through Gears of War. I've played through various different Battlefields. Yeah, it's really fun to just play. I like shooting things, and so any game that has some sort of element, like the Elite Sniper series, where you're just like a sniper and you go through all of the different stages, and then you can like nut shot and stuff like that. That's so fun. I love stuff like that.
Right, the kind of gimmicky type of shooters.
Yeah, but also, I mean,
just a change of pace in some missions for the classic go shoot these people and go out. It's just nice, yeah. I kind of like this
exactly.
series for that. Yeah. Also, let's address the elephant of the room. Valorant. Have you tried that? I believe you did. Knowing you, knowing that reaction.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Valorant is. I'm not gonna shit on Valorant yet. Valorant is. It's a decent game. Okay. But for me, I think it's just too. It's a weird thing to say, but it's just too slow. Considering that I've also played games like Counter-Strike, which is also. I would say
slow.
is probably it's also very slow. But at the very least. With Counter-Strike, the bullet patterns, they're there, right? They're definitive patterns per gun. You know roughly where they're gonna go. With Valorant, every single gun, like the bullet patterns are all RNG. Everything is RNG. Like you'll never get the same bullet pattern with using the same gun whenever you're playing, and I think it's just part of the whole. They took the whole stand and shoot thing for accuracy too seriously, or like the parameters behind that is just too tight. I get the stand and shoot thing, right? Because you do, like in Counter-Strike, there's a whole crouch and shoot thing to improve accuracy, but I think it's just a little bit too much, and it's a little bit too slow for me as well. And there's too many different heroes with specific powers that can really either turn the tides, and you're locked into that character for the entire game. So if you've got like a shit composition, then it's a bit oops. you know.
Oh, dude.
And it's a long game. It's a long game. Every, it's like Counter-Strike, right? I think it's like 15 rounds, and that can be really long. I'd prefer, and this is kind of why I like Call of Duty, is because, or games that have shorter rounds, is because I can literally jump in, have a good or bad game, and then get out and just, we go again. Whereas with Valorant, it's not we go again. It's you've played like 6-7 rounds of a match or whatever, and
Best of 8.
you still gotta go.
Oh,
yeah, even if you know it's probably a loss. It's awful. It's awful.
Oh, dude, I hate when they do that. And they're literally going again with the problem League has a few years ago. Fucking Christ. Oh well. Guess same developer, same problems for all the games. Too long of a ranked game. God damn it.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now I know I need to keep out of that game for a little bit at least.
I mean, like you say, I don't judge people for playing the game. There is definitely some sort of appeal for a lot of people. What's made me laugh is that a lot of people who've played Valorant actually can't aim in Overwatch. Like, there's a whole thread of people who've played Valorant and been like, yo, the aiming in Overwatch is dumb. Because they're just standing there, or the game is dumb because they're running around and then stopping to shoot, to aim.
Right.
And Overwatch is more of a mobility game. It plays a little bit more like Apex, right? But it's got more horizontal movement than vertical, I guess. So the Valorant players, it's hilarious. There's like so many threads on it. The Valorant players aren't used to being able to move and shoot, and so they're getting wrecked by everybody who has played things like Counter-Strike or Apex or whatever, because they're all used to moving and shooting at the same time, and it's hilarious.
I mean, yeah. It's complicated. I don't know how Valorant players are having that problem, but not CSGO players. Like, I mean, I understand Valorant is kind of like the bridge between CSGO and Overwatch, but still, though.
I think if I think of it from more of an analytical view, like being a coach, so the difference is, I think the key difference in terms of aiming is that, okay, so in Valorant you have to stop, right, to shoot, for increased accuracy. And things like Apex is you've got more vertical movement, there's more up and down movement, so people can aim much better vertically. And so the difference with things like Overwatch is that there's when you are going to aim, there's two movement circles you kind of need to think about. The first one is your own movement, so which direction are you heading in? And then the second one is which direction are you going to guess the opponent's going to be heading in? Can you figure out which direction they're putting in? So even if you are moving, if you had stationary targets, yeah, they could probably hit them if the targets were stationary. But because there's so much movement in Overwatch, you have to kind of, in that instant, figure out where they're next going to move to adjust your aim on the fly. And I think that's the issue, is that there's two different types of aims that you got to think about. The first one is, where am I aiming as I'm moving in this direction? And then the second one is, where am I aiming as the opponent is also moving in this direction?
Right. Yeah, you need to think about a lot of like the movement of your opponent, your movement, and and depending on the character, how long it will take for the projectile to get in. Like, I know most of the characters have hit scan, but there are some characters, like I believe it's I don't remember the name, but I know that
Genji's a projectile, Mei's a projectile,
Hanzo is a projectile.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. And projectiles, of course, take a little bit more time to get to the target. Whereas I don't think you have those kind of characters in Valorant. They're all basically, they all use guns, right? Yeah, so they're all hit scan.
Yeah, the abilities are the only thing that I think you need to plan out for Valorant. Also, yeah. Meanwhile, on Doom, Wolfenstein, and Quake, players have been running and gunning for decades. Yeah, it's like that. They'll just go destroy everything.
Honestly, at this point, Fortnite players are better Overwatch players than Valorant players.
Of course. The only thing they will bitch about is because they cannot build a fort in 2 seconds. But aside of that, yeah, they're Gucci. But yeah, like I mean, I have pretty like shitty story with first-person shooters, but I have to admit, once you get a hang of it, you will pass a lot of fun. And funny enough, I've been getting better with my aim, playing Rainbow Six for other, and then trying other games. I'm having a little decent time sometimes. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rainbow Six is another one that I really really enjoyed. I love the concept of it. I love that everything blows up. I love that interaction because there was a lot of that in previous Battlefield games, but not to the same extent of Rainbow Six, or at least Siege. And yeah, and so I love that. I took a huge break from Siege, and it got to a point where the break was so long that I come back and there's like too many different operators. I have no idea what they do, so I just get screwed over. I literally have to start again on that game, and I don't want to.
Yeah, they keep adding them. If you don't keep up, you get behind. It's weird. I don't know.
Yeah, but I love the concept of it. I think it's a great game. It's probably one of the best shooting games,
Tactics
tactical shooters out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe so too. Yeah, I had a lot of fun playing with my friends a few rounds and then just hanging around. It's a fun game if you play just a few matches, because then it gets a little bit too try hard. Like, it's a competitive heavy game, that's for
Yeah.
sure. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a fun time if you like get in for a few matches, not too much. Yeah, not too much of a Rainbow Six Siege player as much as I'd like, but been playing the PvE, you know. Oh right, Extraction. Yeah, I believe so. It's a PvE at the end of the
Oh,
day.
Extraction was so fun. I really enjoyed it. It's just I didn't have enough people to play with, and some like randoms are dumb. But I actually rinsed that game. I got to like the final end, whatever it is, boss thing, and after that, I didn't have many people to play with, so I had to drop it. But Extraction is really fun. I think so. I think I would probably say I'm a self-proclaimed competitive addict. Like, I'm too casual for competitive, but too competitive for casual. And I like, so I sit in this limbo of like, I want to play competitive because it's the pure essence of an FPS game. You only get the people who want to play properly in those games, and I love that. I love the purity around it, and I love the competitiveness. I love the fight for survival experience by doing that. But also with a lot of games, like, I'm not top tier player. So it's a tough one, but I'll still stick through it. I can't not enjoy any ranked shooter specifically. Like, if we're talking about fighters, I'm terrible at that, and I just rage quit. But like the shooter experience, it's just so pure to me, and so like it's so thrilling to just be part of a round of like you can turn the tide at any point. It's just that's a reason why I love competitive games.
Yeah, you're on the sweet spot. Like, I like to try hard, but I'm not good enough to do it. And I don't like playing casual because it's too easy, quote unquote. But to be completely honest, I don't find myself in that. Maybe it's because I just don't like competitive in general. I just like to go and play. But sometimes I like to be like that, like a little bit competitive, since I feel confident on what I can do, and I know how to play my character in some occasions. So I just hope. But yeah, it's
Bro, for me, I just love the salt, man. I love being like so salty myself, not even just other people, because it is funny when other people are really salty about games, I'm not gonna lie, but also myself. Like, I love complaining about it, and then just the feeling of going, oh, this is such a shit game, and then jumping straight back into it and playing again. Like, it's addictive.
Same. It's like I told the video when we did the show last time. I love seeing people complain about tier lists just because I like seeing people bitch about a game. Even myself, I like to just get into a game, after that game, bitch about it, and go back to another one. It's just It's fun. I don't know why, but it's fun. It's toxic fun.
I had this really funny moment. So a while back, I participated in some sort of like Call of Duty tournament, a Warzone tournament, and so I was playing with a couple of people that I knew as part of our team, and it's very similar to how like Apex tournaments run. So you get like a number of points for kills and also like where you finish. But this tournament was during the day of like the DMR, and for those that aren't aware, there's this gun in Warzone which was called the DMR, which is like a sniper rifle, and a semi-auto sniper rifle, and it was OP, like disgustingly OP. Like it was the meta. You could not play any game of Warzone without that gun being in there, and if it was, like, it would down people in like 2 or 3 shots. And so everyone, they didn't have a rule in it to say that was a banned weapon, so everyone was running it, myself included, of course. And so there's like clips that I saw that they posted on their socials, and it's just like, it's my view, and you can hear me in the chat because there was like various Discord chats and stuff like that active, and you can literally hear me in the chat going, "Oh, it's a fucking DMR. Oh, you're so shit," and using a DMR whilst I was still using one at the same time. And I'm complaining about this gun, and I'm getting down by it, and then I get picked back up, and I'm shooting in the head, and I'm just like, "Yeah, that's right. That's what you get for using a DMR. I'm using one." Like, and then it's like, there was a point where it was like the last 2 teams. So it's my team and another team left, and I think I found out where they all are, and I was marking it on the map for my team, and there was a clip of me that they put in the highlight reel, which was literally my game crashed. My game crashed, and you can see me with my scope on this person's head, the last person alive, on his head, and it's crashed. But you can still hear my voice, and I'm just going, "What the fuck? My game's crashed. What the fuck? Like, what? Why? Why is this game so shit? Oh my god, this game is so shit. I quit. Like,
I'm out."
I'm out. And my friend's like, "What do you mean? What do you mean?" I'm like, "I can't do nothing." It's like, "Shit game. Why is this game so shit? I'm not playing this ever again." And then like it cuts to a next clip of me in the next round just like shooting people.
Oh, what the hell? Oh, I hate when that happens. And then
Yeah,
you get penalized
do,
for
but
that if you're online.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude. Good. But yeah. You mentioned before about something about coaching. Do you have any experience doing that?
Yeah. So I was a Overwatch coach. I was first of all as a player. So as a player first, and then for an arena, and I was coaching. I was on part of the Overwatch team. So there were 2 Overwatch teams. There was an A and a B team, and I was part of the B team, and we were entered into 2 different tournaments. And our A team won their tournament, and our B team, which I was part of, also won our tournament, and we basically won like 3 years in a row.
Wow.
And yeah, so we won for like 3 years in a row. We were, I think, our teams were basically undefeated. Bear in mind that also, though, like our teams also had like top 500s for Overwatch, because it's Overwatch team. Our teams had top 500 EU players, so it was a pretty beefy team. But like after that, I just didn't have the time, or I just couldn't be bothered to do it. So what happened was they asked me to come back for the next year, so year 4 or whatever it was, to coach, because there were a bunch of they opened up a new bracket. So they opened up a spot for a C team, which is they called it the challenger team. So it was essentially like people in low elo. So we're talking bronze, silver, gold, plat, which is the below to average tier set in Overwatch. And it was people that wanted to learn how to improve, but also participate in tournaments. So their tournaments weren't as sweaty as ours, but it was a nice way for, I guess, casual gamers to get that same experience, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't have anyone to teach anything because nobody really knew it. So they just asked me to come back and as a coach, and I was like, all right, cool, I'll do this. I'm not gonna be like, it's not gonna take up too much of my time, so it's gonna be fine. And so yeah, I taught them a lot of things like fundamentals and plays and target calls and all this sort of stuff and the meta and what they should be doing and so on and so forth. And we got that, or I should say, I got that team to the finals. They didn't win it, but I got them to the finals. But they all felt really, really like proud to even get to that. So you know, it's a state of like a bunch of casual players like have got somewhere in a tournament to the end.
I mean, that's a huge W. You just
Yeah.
grab a bunch of casuals and put them on the finals, dude. That's a
Yeah,
W.
yeah. So it was really cool. And then so what happened was they wanted to make it like a thing because they thought it was a great way to get the community going in their arena. So I was like, all right, I'll do it for one more, and then that's it. Like I'm so done. I'm so done with esports. And so yeah, I did it for another one, but I quit like midway because I got really frustrated with some of the players. Now this is in every game, but what happened was some of the players were difficult to work with. Like you can't coach somebody that doesn't want to be coached, right? You can't coach somebody that's trying to listen, that will not listen to what you say and think that they know what they're doing, despite, you know, being where they are and being in part of that team that's in the average to below average tier. So and then they all started arguing with each other and blaming each other, and I couldn't control them because they were just personalities that didn't want to. So I was just like, you know what, like I'm done. And so I kind of just was like, hey, look, this team is uncoachable for me. They're disrespectful. I don't want to do this anymore. And they're like, all right, it's fine. I wasn't even getting paid for it, so you know, it's fine. But yeah, it's if I was there doing it for fun. I had no obligation to do it. So if they're gonna just, you know, screw around and be the way that they are, there's no reason for me to try. But yeah, I think it was a fun bit of thing for me to do, which is coaching. Like my day job is training. Like I train people for a living. So like coaching comes like, yeah, coaching comes second nature to me.
Okay, yeah, technically all three, training, coaching, and teaching, are technically the same thing because at the end of the day, someone is learning something from you. So, yeah.
Well, teaching is the best way to defer them or differentiate them, I should say, is teaching is you are giving the answers when you are teaching somebody. When you're coaching, you're holding their hand to help them figure out the answers themselves. So it's more or less, coaching is more or less pushing them over the finish line, and teaching is more or less like dragging them over the finish line.
Yeah, you're right. Kinda. I mean, depending on the subject also, but yeah, I've been studying before being a teacher, and one of the things they told us is that nowadays teachers are supposed to guide people on the knowledge they want. The teachers are supposed to teach. Like, let's say you're trying to teach mathematics, like basic math to a kid. And most of the time, they will either go to internet to find a solution for it, or they don't even care. So your job there is to help them out, to find the good sources for the info, and just teach them that or guide them through that. So at least that's how it works where I live, and that also works with that also works on other type of teachings, like not just math, like on story, informatics, I think chemistry, and all signature you can imagine as well. So yeah, either way, the way you describe it is one is dragging, the other is pushing. It's an accurate description, to be honest.
Yeah, it's how I've got. It's one of my lines that I use to get through like a lot of job interviews. Is so especially as a trainer, they're like, "Oh, why do you want to be a trainer here?" And I'm just like, the line I always use. There should be some epic music to this. Is so the line I always use is I want to be the person to what's the line? Oh God, it's been so long since I've had to use it. It's oh yeah. I don't want to be the person that watches from the sidelines and claps their hand and cheers them on. I want to be the person to hold their hand and let it go and watch them go over the finish line and take them on a victory lap. That's me. That's what I want to do. That's why I want to join your company.
Okay, that's actually a good motivation. Good motivation, man. In some ways, training is trying to keep people motivated, whereas teaching is giving people knowledge to get to a certain point. Yeah. Also, yeah, that's a solid line. Yeah, that's a good motivation for being a coach. Really.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about being relatable, right? That's the important thing.
You don't want to be on the seat on the crowd. You want to be there on the moment. Yeah, that's great. Alright. Let's see here. Oh, have you played Danganronpa by any chance?
Yes, yeah. I played all of them, man. Ooh, what a great game! I mean, I joined it late, so I only started playing them when they hit like PC, because I didn't have a PSP or whatever it was on. Was it PSP? Sure.
I believe so. I played the PC.
Yeah, so they only released the remakes, is it, or something on Steam not too long ago? It's probably like years ago, but yeah, I feel like it wasn't too long ago. So I only got it back into it like really recently, but. Oh my gosh, what a great game, yo. I love kind of discovery games like that. Maybe that's the British in me. Maybe I should have been Amelia Watson. I love like discovery stuff like that. And it was just such a wild ride. Okay, no spoilers, but the whole thing was just such a wild ride, and there's some really cool characters and distinguished characters, and man, it was just so entertaining for me. I really liked it. I even played all the spin-offs. So there was the one spin-off of like, I think was it a shooting one? I can't remember what it was. I think,
Despair Girls, yeah. I remember that.
Despair Girls. Yeah, I even played the spin-offs, and I still love them all. So I'm just waiting for another Danganronpa. That's my jam.
I'm waiting for another one too. It's a wild ride, all three games. I think the most same one when it comes to the weirdness of it all, it's the first one. Then the other ones go really hard, I believe. Especially the third. And
yeah, I love it because if it like, if you gave it like an 18 plus rating, like it would just be all sorts of fucked up. I just love that. Yeah,
change the color of the blood from pink to the original color, and then we go plus 18. Then we go
yeah. It's so good. I can't remember. There was another game I played that's similar to that. I can't remember what it's called, but it was on the PC, and it wasn't like in. Oh, it's gonna annoy me. It was this sort of. It was a game about how somebody got murdered, and you were stuck on this island alongside a bunch of like gods and things, I think. And you had to figure out who. It was another murder mystery, very similar to like what the fuck is going on in Danganronpa. But like, I really enjoyed that as well, and it was a lot of like self-exploration. And I liked just the idea of talking to people and trying to figure out the story and stuff like that. Like the whole. Ace Attorney series as well, I quite enjoy.
Investigation. I need to play the Ace Attorney games, or either on the GBA or PC release.
I think they re-released them for the PC, so maybe I'll play through that at some point again.
I think they are not re-releases; they are like HD versions, like.
Other HDs? Oh, I mean. Re-releases, HD is all the same.
Depending on some stuff, the hood seems to be different at least. They are on Steam, yeah. Mystery novels games here, they are so much fun.
Yeah.
Also, you said you don't play fighting games, right? You just...
Yeah.
You don't like the experience, do you?
Yeah, I don't really... I played Smash Bros. Casually. And then I competed in Smash Bros. Very briefly when Smash 4, I think it was Smash 4, when it was on the DS.
Yeah,
when it was on the DS and the Wii U.
The
I competed
3DS,
in that.
Yeah, is that Smash 4?
Yeah, I competed on that, and I was like the only one. It was so funny when I was competing because I was the only one that wasn't using a GameCube controller or whatever controller, right? I literally rocked up with my DS, and they were like, "What the heck? How are you using that?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's just so much easier with the DS."
If someone can enter a Guilty Gear XR tournament with a fucking PS2 wheel and win, you can do whatever the fuck you want. It's so fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I missed the DS. The 3DS was so good. Like the little thumbstick, I thought was a genius way to have the analog sticks on a little compact thingy thing. So I really enjoyed that. Like, I think they missed the mark on Switch by giving you analog sticks. I'll bring back the little thumb nub, whatever it was. On the 3DS, I like that.
Aren't those 3DS things a little bit too fragile?
No idea. I think I still have mine somewhere. I've got no idea where it is, but it exists. I've got loads of 3DSs because them Zelda ones that are still boxed, but like I haven't taken them out. Actually, now that I'm looking at my collection, I'm an idiot.
What?
Because I'm just trying to think of like how much money did I spend? Like I've got like I mentioned before, I've got the Majora's Mask one, right? But I also have the Majora's Mask 3DS, and I also have the Zelda 25th anniversary 3DS. And wait, what is that? Is that the Link's Awakening one as well? Yeah, Link Between Worlds one there, and I'm seeing a Pikachu one as well. So
wow,
I'm
you really like that console.
I think I'm an idiot. They're all just sitting in boxes. Like I've never taken them out.
Hey, at least you have replacements. Like you have if your 3DS somehow doesn't want to wake up anymore, you have another one.
Yeah.
That's nice. As far as I know, the 3DS was decently durable. Yeah, I guess so. Weird. I think with that thing, you will not have to worry about the drift thing, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't exist there. I mean, it only really exists on the Switch, so, and a few other things. I think it was on an Xbox controller at some point, but, I don't really... So I swapped all my... I think I complained about it on Twitter once, or previously, about the whole controller, Switch controller drift thing. I ended up swapping my sticks out for my Pro controller, so I took it apart and I swapped the sticks out for like metal ones, and that fixed the drift thing. But then I ended up just getting a new controller anyway. So I've got I've got a Switch controller that has like paddle buttons on the back, very similar to like the Xbox one, the Xbox Pro controller that has paddles on the back. So that allows me to like push buttons easier, so I can like jump, because I'm a stick player on Splatoon. What it does is it allows me to jump and use my sticks at the same time rather than gyro, because I have a disadvantage, and that I've been very vocal about this particular topic before. But yeah, it's a thing.
Also, it's good to think about. I don't know how to pronounce that because I don't know how to pronounce that. Yeah, that. Let you use the Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo controllers on other systems. Oh yeah. I
literally have. Yeah. So for my PC, I have an Xbox Pro controller. Elite controller. Sorry, I have an Xbox Elite controller which I use for my PC for anything that requires a controller, because I feel a lot of the games I play on PC aren't fighting games. I feel like the PlayStation controller is probably the best controller for a fighting game. Everything else, though, like the Xbox controller, in my personal opinion, is superior.
To be completely honest, I prefer the Xbox controller for fighting games too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had better. Okay, so my story with controllers is a little bit jiffy because I jumped from a PS3 controller to an Xbox One, and it was a bitch to configure on PC the PS3 one. So when I got my Xbox 360 one, it was a change of air, but pretty powerful. And if you really think about it, the layout on a PS3 controller and an Xbox 360 controller is almost exactly the same. Like, the buttons are there. The only weird placement is for the analog sticks. And to be completely honest, it's fine. It's not that big of a deal. Just change the place of the pad, then the directional pad and the analog stick, and you're fine. It's just a thing. I don't know. I found it really fun. Both ways to play it. It's exactly the same with the controller. I actually use a modern Sega Genesis controller for fighters, if I'm not using a stick. I mean, that's fair too. In fact, I want to try that one day. That sounds fun. But yeah. Let's see. What's we have here? Also, I see a game here that has at least a really cool thing for the Duel. Can you explain me about Guns the Duel?
Guns the Duel? Oh my god. The throwback. So Guns the Duel, or Guns Duel, I just called it Guns, it was a first-person shooter. No, it's a third-person shooter. I lied. It was a third-person shooter. But so the funny thing about Guns is there was a bug in it, a cancellation bug. So if you're familiar with fighting games, you'll have certain frames and certain inputs that will cancel attacks for you to be able to do other things, right? In Guns, what it was is there was a cancellation bug where you could swing your sword, because there was guns and swords in it. You could swing a sword, cancel the animation, and it would automatically glitch and bring a gun out. So you could, in one action, hit something with a sword and then shoot straight afterwards, like immediately afterwards, and you'd reduce that cooldown. And this what should have been a game-breaking bug eventually became the premise for the only reason that people played it, is because it allowed for you to do really dumb things. Like, in the game, you could climb walls using your sword by slashing at it. But now with the ability to use this bug, which they called a slash shot, like, so descriptive, you could be able to do that much faster, and it turned into some sort of like Matrix-y type game where you could like fly around and shoot people with like shotguns or revolvers or rifles or rockets and stuff like that. And I when I was younger, I played on it a lot. I put so many hours into it. Like, before it got picked up by Ig, I think it's Ig. It used to be under a company called Myatt, which is like a Korean company. So it used to be big in Korea, basically. It's a Korean game. And then it got picked up by an international game company, and then they brought it over. But that period between it being with this Korean company to then moving over to this international company, I ended up being one of like the top players of a server. So there were 6 different servers in the game, and I played on server 3, which is just because I thought 3 was a great number. It turned out all the all the good players were on that server. And so I learned from a bunch of people watching them play and just talking to people. And I ended up being one of the top players, considered one of the top players of that server. And then before, it's really, really cool, because before the whole thing died and moved over to the new company, they did like a whole server war. So there were like guilds or clans, whatever you want to call them. And there was a server war. So it took like the top players from each server, and we had like this unofficial official tournament in the forums to see who was the best. And it turned out like our server was like really good. And when they moved into the international version, the company implemented a ranking system. And you know what I'm like with ranking. I've already had a very extensive talk about like ranks and competitiveness. And so what happened was I was the leader of a top 20 global team. And so our clan was top 20. I think we peaked at 4th in the world at some point. But yeah, I was like really well known, and there was a point where they took all of the best players from that that game, and we moved over to the Korean version because that's where we learn how to do all of that stuff, right? They're the ones that like are the experts, and our team went over to Korean version and came number 1 in Korea. So we were the top clan in Korea, but like they all complained about it because it was a peer-to-peer game, so lag was a thing, right? And they're used to like 1-2 millisecond pings between each other, so they can click, and they're not used to predicting, which is what all of us were. The international team were used to predicting shots and where things are going to land. So they got pissed off, and our clan eventually got banned. And then we moved into the Japanese version, and then we came number 1 there, and again we got banned. And then, and then and then eventually like everyone kind of just I think it was moving into Steam, and then it went into Steam very briefly, and there was a Guns 2 that went into Steam, and we were all hyped for it, but it didn't have the same experience that the first game had.
Right.
But
it's not the same feeling.
Yeah, it's not the same feeling. It no longer. So all of the things that the slash shot, which was like I say, a bunch of directional inputs in order to do it, was very difficult to do. You had to learn how to do it. You had to learn a combination for it. They made it an action. They made it a 1-button press in Guns 2. So they made it so that everyone to cater to the casuals, so everyone could do it. And that eventually broke the game because they were like, what's the point? But yeah, it's that I spent so much of my childhood on that game. So much.
Okay, no, that was an online third-person shooter with a really crazy gun sword. It's so
yeah. I was literally everybody in the game basically only used shotguns because it was like disgusting damage. But I was known for using a rocket launcher. I was like one of the 6 people that ever used rocket launchers.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let me get this straight. You were too good for the game. The game itself banned you, basically.
Yeah. So the international servers, the international team we came up with, which was like the best players from the game, or on our side. Yeah, we all got banned for being too good. Also because you're not supposed to be playing in those servers as well. But that's beside the point. We got to number 1.
Yeah. Dude. Banned from the CBS Discord Splatoon tournament for being too good. Nah, if you have someone like that, you don't ban them. You put them on commentary.
It's true. They make the best pundits. They're the ones that they're going to be like commentating on everything, giving you all the hype.
Right. Usually people like that are either coach or are literally just commentating.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's why you get like, if you go to any sports, most of the commentators are former players, right?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun because that's something that you said. It's almost like the same thing as coaching, but the amount of like practice for the boys, the amount of like, I think not studying, but the amount of like eye recognition you need to have on the game you're like trying to commentate on is really scary. The amount of things you need to do while commentating. You need to keep in mind a lot of things and keep it hype so the players and the viewers mostly the viewers are just entertained with not only the game but with the people are commentating on.
Yeah, ideally you have commentators, you'll have analysts as well. So, and you'll have hosts. They're the 3 that you'll need. So you have the commentators that will depict everything live. You have the analysts who will be watching the game and then be writing notes. And then they'll do the like post-game interviews or the mid-game interviews or the mid-game talks and be like, here's what they should have done in XYZ. Whereas it's a really fine line, but yeah, the commentators will tell you what's happening here and now. And maybe predict what their next moves are. The analysts will be watching everything live and then writing down the key plays and things that they should have done or improved on or weaknesses. And then what happens is they come back to the host and it's like, oh, let's talk to our so and so. Like if you look, I don't know if anyone watches like the Overwatch League, but if you look at the Overwatch League, you have people like Leg Day, who's a really good commentator, and then you'll have people like Zombie, who is like the analyst. So you'll come to her afterwards and she'll be like, yeah, this is the rundown, this is the lowdown. And I think it's difficult, but it's more difficult, I think, with like a lot of amateur tournaments, and this is probably prevalent now because there's a lot of like VTuber tournaments now, is that you won't have all three of those around, and so you'll just basically have one person doing all of that, and it's so hard. Yeah. So in an ideal world, like I say, you'll have all three. I hope to do that at some point. But yeah, that's a VTuber goal for me.
Yeah, someday we can do it. You have now the reach, so it's just a matter of time and a preparation.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that easily at this point. You just need to prepare a little team for that, so you have everything covered. You don't have to do all yourself. Yeah. So, okay, I wanted to ask this a long time ago. How long have you been playing competitive Splatoon, and what's your experience on it?
I only started in Splatoon 2. I think competitive Splatoon has always existed from number 1. So Splat 1, like, it was just fun for me. I didn't even complete the story. I actually ended up watching the story for that one. Splat 2, I only played competitive mode because it was all I loved. I really, I don't know what happened. I do know what happened. I fell in love with the characters. So Splat 1 has Callie and Mari as the idols. And they're like K-pop. They're based on like K-pop. So they're like K-pop idols. And so the songs are banging in Splat 1. This is the big thing about Splatoon, is the songs, the tracks. The OST is amazing.
Yeah.
In Splatoon 2, it was Pearl and Marina, who are based off of Tupac and Biggie, so big rappers in the scene. And like their music is amazing, actually amazing. And I fell in love with those two characters, and I fell in love with the music there. And I was like, man, I love the songs. I love this game. I love everything. And so I used to go to random like Nintendo meetups. And I didn't know they were official meetups. I just saw some random stuff in like Splatoon Facebook groups, and it was like, oh yeah, there's this meetup for Splatoon. Everyone's gonna go over and play. And so I went over, and I just had a lot of fun there, and I was playing. And I didn't realize there was this whole scene for esportsy type thing for competitive Splatoon. And so there's a couple of people that I was playing with or playing against in a casual tournament. But let me rephrase that. I thought it was a casual tournament. It was not a casual tournament. I turned up to this thing, and I on a whim just was like, yeah, I'll participate in the tournament. And they put like me in a group of They put me in a pre-made group of 3 other people. And so they were like, oh, what's your experience with Splatoon? And I'm like, oh, I just played. And they're like, oh, who have you played with? And I'm like, what do you mean? And so they were asking who I played with and what teams I've played with before, and like what tournaments I played with, and I was just like, I use these weapons. And they were like, oh, okay, cool. Very disappointed. And so I was playing with this team, and we ended up getting we didn't win. We got to like the semifinals. But like some of the other people I was playing against were just like, what the fuck? Like, this guy's really good. Referring to me. And so when in all of our matches, they'd come over and watch me play, and I thought I was like weird. I was like, ooh, this is such a casual match. Why are people watching me? Like, watch the screen. But it's because they were watching me play because I was the only one using sticks. And yeah, so everyone there who was competitive were using the gyro controls, which is the best way to use it. It's the only way to be competitive in Splatoon. But they were just baffled by the fact that I was using sticks and performing to this level in competitive Splatoon. And so I got recruited by a team that lost to us. Because the team that I was with, like, they were all solos and they're all part of their own teams, but they were friends. So this other team were like, hey, we've got this spot, for like a reserve, and we'd really like you to join. And I was like, all right, cool. And so I joined as a reserve. So it's basically a sub in case somebody's missing. And the first big tournament that we were at, which was a Nintendo UK one, the one of the main people ended up retiring from the team. It was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. So I ended up going from reserve to like a mainstay. And obviously they're worried because like I've scrimed with them before, but like in the competitive sense, it's like new. We didn't really have that synergy yet because I hadn't played enough with them. But we won that tournament, and so they wanted to go again and put me as a mainstay. And then we entered the Nintendo EU tournament, and then we got knocked out by in one of the brackets by the people that actually won the tournament in the end and became the champions of Europe. So it wasn't that bad if you think about it in hindsight. It was bad at the time. Felt very responsible, but yeah, that's how I got into like competitive. It was a complete accident. I've seen one of my former teammates actually put sent me a DM going, hey, look, we're looking to bring back the team. I know you've retired. Like, do you want to participate in the UK and Ireland tournament? And I was like, guys, I'm really not at that level anymore, but I appreciate you coming back to me. And I was like, I'm gonna have to say no. And they're like, okay, we'll find someone else. And it was literally yesterday that they DM'd me.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
You need to.
But it's good to see that they're still competing. Yeah.
Good to see that team still wants to go back at least for one more time. That's so good. Also, yeah, if we see Cody with a sig, we run. We don't have a chance.
Yeah. We'll stick you.
Yeah. I think we have a good time here. Hold on. Do you have anyone you would like to rate?
Oh no. Let me see. I mean, Rainy's streaming right now.
On Twitch?
Oh. Let me check. Yeah, on Twitch.
Alright.
You see what she's doing.
Alright.
Looks like she's doing art.
Can you pass me the name?
Yeah.
I think it's Rainy _and_ Iki, but I don't know how to write that.
Yeah. I'll paste it to you. Here we go.
Alright.
Yeah, because I was with her over the weekend at Comic-Con. I'll probably do a stream to do like a little talk about it at some point next week. Right. It was good fun.
I cannot tab out of if. What? Oh, just got the notification. We are almost ending, but we still have a little bit more time. Let's see. Having Discord on my phone is a pain a little bit. Yeah, notifications are weird, dude. I don't know. I should have invited you to the server. You will get the notification way earlier. Let's do whatever. But the thing is, just to sum everything up, we were talking about a lot of stuff. Cody's competitive history on Splatoon and first-person shooter history that he experienced with, and Gun-C that I'm now interested to play because it sounds like DMC Online, like Devil May Cry Online. At this point, it sounds super fun.
Yeah, I mean, if you go check out like some of the YouTube videos, you'll see like how crazy it can be. It's insane. But it's like if you ever learn an instrument like guitar or something, and your fingers can't, you get pain in your fingers because it's not used to being able to move like that fast. It's literally the same with guns. I can't do it anymore. Like I don't have the dexterity, but Jesus, what a crazy game.
Mm-hmm. Okay. There we go. Yeah, this is them. Alright. Good to go here. Thanks, Cody, for hanging out with me today. It was a pleasure to have you here.
No problem.
We need to repeat this maybe someday. I need to start hanging out with other of my old guesses, so for round 2. So, yeah. Alright, Cody interview rate. That's the right message, Jacado got it. Whatever emote you have, and we'll be seeing you next time. Bye.